Hey, greetings, friends, scouts, family, and staff of Troop 123. How's everybody doing tonight? Not a snow day meeting, just a regular online meeting day. Lots of videos lined up for you tonight. We've done a lot of outdoor and wintry stuff lately. We've also done a lot of cooking stuff, so we decided to go back into kind of the nuts and bolts of that. Let's talk about how to season and clean a cast iron Dutch oven, which is one of those utilitarian pieces of equipment. You can cook everything you want in a Dutch oven, and they're easy to clean. There are several videos on how to clean one, how to season it, but I'm a little critical of some of this stuff. A true cast iron Dutch oven doesn't need much more to clean it than the fire you cooked with it. The idea being, once you cook whatever you made in your Dutch oven for supper or breakfast, you scrape it out with your spatula, you stoke your fire so it's hot, you take that Dutch oven, you dump it back into the fire face down, and it burns it out. Then you pull it out with a pair of tongs, of course. Wipe it down with some paper towels to get all the soot and black out of the inside, and then rub it down with some oil. Some people use salt and pepper. Whatever you like at that point is your taste. But the best thing about a Dutch oven, you can ask any of my friends in Troop 112. Once you're done with it, you don't have to use any water to clean it with. Some of these videos will show you rinsing it out with water. Sure, that's okay, but you know what water is? Water is heavy. 8 pounds a gallon. So when I'm camping, not at summer camp where we have food made for us, but when we're making our own stuff, I like to carry in as little as possible. So if we cook with a Dutch oven 2 or 3 times in a couple of days, and every time we clean it, all we have to do is flip it over in the fire and burn it out. That's fantastic. One word from the wise. Sometimes if you don't watch, the lids aren't cast iron. I have seen people melt the lids of their Dutch ovens. So, choose your Dutch oven carefully when you clean it out. There's some more videos on how to build fire, gathering tinder and kindling. The fourth video, it says, teaching the squaw to cut squaw wood. Nobody be offended or triggered. When I joined Scouts, this was a common term. You were told by older Scouts, if you were on the wood gathering detail, go find some squaw wood. All this is a reference to is the idea that perhaps female Indians would gather the wood for their fires. Probably true in some cases, probably not true in some cases, but the fact of the matter is squaw wood, as I still call it, is fantastic stuff. Think of any pine tree that has branches going all the way to the ground, but by the ground they're dead. They're dead and they're not hurting the tree or harming the tree. The tree's not using those branches at all. They're off the ground so they're dry. So, when somebody says, hey, go get me some squaw wood, they're actually telling you to go break some dead branches off of a tree. Again, we're Boy Scouts. We don't harm live stuff. We can help it. But if you get some of these, especially pine trees, conifer trees, evergreen trees, if you get some of this squaw wood, some of these dead branches broken off, right there you've got dry tinder and kindling that is full of pine sap and ready to go up and light really fast. Great stuff. It's even drier if it's raining outside. Squaw wood, which again is wood that is dead wood that is still attached to a living tree, is still far more dry than any wood you would pick up off the floor of the forest. So nobody get too politically correct on me. The guy and his wife are joshing around. He does do a pretty good job of showing you how to gather squaw wood. I've never needed an axe myself. They're pretty much, especially if it's a pine tree, they're so soft that you can just break them off with your hand. But if somebody says, hey, that forest over there it's all pines full of squaw wood, fantastic, because that means we have tinder and kindling for an entire weekend. And last but not least, there are a few more videos on basic fire lays again. There is one video about how to cook ribs over a campfire. The ribs look great, but what the guy says is true. When you're cooking over a campfire, not using charcoal briquettes, the best thing about the bed of coals you create with the wood you choose is that it's an even heat and you can control it. We're not cooking at home in our stove and our mom's stove or our wife's stove or the stove you have at your house. You have to build this fire, kind of figure out how hot it is by experience. I know some troops carry like a thermometer, like a gun you can kind of get the fire, gauge the fire. Back in the day, we didn't have that. You just knew oak burns hotter than this. Walnut burns hotter than pine, things like that. So, the video about the guy cooking ribs is, again, the food looks great, but listen to what he says about what the fire pit will give him for what he needs in the end. because we're still kind of in a cooking phase, right? We've talked about Dutch oven foods. We'll show you how to season a Dutch oven. We'll show you how to clean a Dutch oven. I've talked about it. Just use fire, scrape it out, clean it out with no water, no soap ever in a cast iron pan. I wouldn't. If you or your mom does or your dad, that's fine. But for me, not necessary. There was some great videos. Again, kind of some nuts and bolts stuff. Because to get to those fantastic Dutch oven meals, we have to have a clean Dutch oven, we have to have a seasoned Dutch oven, and we have to have a fire. So let's talk about those things that can get us to making a good supper, all right? Have a great week. Stay warm, stay clean and dry. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.